So then, you beautiful, beautiful people, it's now Boxing Day, and I really hope that you all got what you wanted, or at least what you needed off Santa. And for those of you who weren't visited by Santa, either because you had been incredibly naughty or things just were more important elsewhere this year, I hope that you had family and friends around you to make it special. You know, it's not just Santa who can make Christmas special. Anyway, I digress. Christmas. One day, a year build up for one day, and it's done now. Over. Another year. So, let's get into the meat and potatoes. You know, the student Idaho killings. So you think to yourself, there's going to be, and we spoke about this before, you know, in these kind of cases, there are going to be people who are considered potential suspects right from the off. No matter what you do, no matter who you are, no matter what your past is like, no matter whatever, there are certain people who will fall into the suspect category just because they are either someone who was around the victim who is just a bit of a weirdo, the ex-partner, the current partner. You know, there's just these people who fall into that category, and there's not really anything that you can do about it. It's not, you know, out of the realms of normality. It's just what people think. And Jack D has, from the beginning of this, been a lot of people's number one suspect. Now, don't get me wrong. There are some people who don't consider him a suspect, and it might be because they look at Jack D and they consider him not physically able to do it, because they look at him and think, you know, he doesn't look like he could punch his way out of a wet paper bag. So can we really say that he has the physical ability to do these heinous crimes? And then some people will say, well, he could if he was working alongside someone else. Maybe he couldn't do it on his own, but he might be able to do it if he had a friend with him, perhaps. And, you know, we go off down different avenues. But Jack D has always been, for many, sort of prime suspect. Whether that be right, whether it be wrong, it's just part and parcel. And we have to be careful what we say, because we see that people are getting sued now. You know, we've got a TikToker who's being sued by one of the people surrounding this case on the peripherals, one of the professors, because they had named this professor as someone who they believe did the murders. And maybe that was just a step too far. And, you know, that is an argument for another day. What can the people on the internet say and what can they not say? But I think in the realms of these cases, you know, people are going to speculate, and people are not, you know, if somebody physically says you did this 100%, you killed someone or you hurt someone purposefully, and I know you did, and that is a fact, then that's very different than someone saying, you know, I'd consider such and such a suspect because of this specific reason. Anyway, I digress again. I've gone off on I didn't do a video yesterday. It was the first day I haven't done a video on this channel for a year, and now I'm relearning. I'm relearning how to ride the bike. But anyway, let's get back into it. So Jack D. So his auntie has spoken out for him, and you'd think to yourself, you know, in a time when people are throwing shade on you and making you out to be prime suspect, you would hope that someone had come to your defense and they would say how this is not something that you would do ever. And sometimes I think that they can make things appear worse. I don't know what you think, but we're going to have a look at this together, and let me know down below in the comments. You know, and I'm not saying anything more. What I want us to do is look at what this says and think, well, let's have a look. Vilified ex-boyfriend of slain Idaho student Kaylee Gonsalves is devastated, his family says. The man once considered a person of interest, so once considered, not now, in the murder of his ex-girlfriend and 3 other University of Idaho students is crushed. He lost the love of his life. Let's just point out, he didn't lose the love of his life when she was sadly murdered. He'd already lost her because she dumped him. And devastated that some consider him a suspect in the slaughter, a family member told the Post. Now, I thought that he would be quite an intelligent person and he would understand that people are going to do that anyway. You know, you could be Bruce fucking Lee and people are still going to consider you a suspect in a situation like this. Speaking publicly for the first time, Brooke Miller said her nephew Jack DeCoeur is currently surrounded by family and friends as he grieves Kaylee Gonsalves' murder. He's not only lost the love of his life and what we all thought, and he probably thought as well, would be his future wife. You know, get married and have kids and all of that. But also half of America thinks he could be responsible for the heinous killings, said Miller. So Jack DeCoeur thought that he was going to marry Kate, they were going to have children, they were going to do everything together. She then dumps him, and 3 weeks later, she is brutally murdered alongside her friends. Did his auntie just help him or hinder him further? DeCoeur, 22, and Gonsalves, 21, had been dating for 5 years. They had a history as well. When she broke things off with him just 3 weeks before he was murdered. I can just see Jack reading this and going,
fucking hell, what are you trying to do to me? You've made me look even fucking more suspicious now.
cheers, auntie. But anyway, look, we don't know who did this. It's dragged out, but I can only hope that it's dragged out because this isn't so much about finding out who did it. It's about finding a way of proving beyond reasonable doubt that the person that law enforcement have in their crosshairs did this. Because as we've said multiple times, they get one shot, one opportunity, and they have to get it right. And I still want to believe in law enforcement. I still want to believe in the system. I still want to believe that why we're seeing so many frustrating things is because certain things that we feel that they've missed, like the fact that they didn't speak to the driver who took them home, and the fact that he held quite important information. He'd said that their behaviour was not extraordinary, it was just normal. They gave him no inclination that they felt that they were in danger of any kind whatsoever. And that could be such an important factor. That could indeed rule out people like Hoodie Guy and anyone who they interacted with that night. Because surely if something would have happened or they'd have interacted with someone that put them in a position where they felt scared or they felt that something could happen, would they not tell that person who took them home that something had happened or they had to break their night off early for this reason? You tell me. Let me know down below. Are we just seeing things that frustrate us because law enforcement are now tying up loose ends? Or have they just well and truly dropped the ball? I hope you had a brilliant Christmas and it continues. Spend some time with some family, and I will catch you all in the next one.